Jordan Don for Cycle 3, and clearly a big part for their success here as they move along, no doubt. So they happen to get Silhouette again right here. That's some scary stuff. Ophelia, Cthulhu Font, Magnus, Swift play the initial bands. It was Kraken first pick, actually, in a Parasite. Glacius into Silhouette. Tempest into Rhapsody. Rhapsody final pick, even. As far as the initial picks, though. Not your everyday draft right here. But here we are. Game number 2. Second tier of bands now. Our picks are going to be happening. Even Devo, Flux, Keeper, Chipper, Pharaoh, Moon Queen were the bands. Yeah, Keeper played last game by Don as well. And that's not a hero we've seen a whole lot of lately.
Yeah, I think normally because I mean, I know this team a little bit because obviously they got Akami, one of my old members from Instant Reflex, but and they said they really hate playing against Tempest without some kind of counter. Obviously, last game they had Keeper of the Forest, this game they have Parasite, so at least they have some way of sort of dealing with the Tempest, and I think that was the main reason why they picked up the Keeper of the Forest.
Yeah.
In that game.
All right, so this game, though, no reason to do that, as you pointed out. Definitely with the Parasite, he can take care of that just fine. Dr. Repulsor being right-clicked right here by Shrek is Love. We'll see if that comes out to be a pick for them. But, yeah, something I noticed about Don, though, again, definitely a bit of a different lineup here. In fact, I believe Labyrinth and Iceland Goga are the only 2 members that I remember from when they were in Diamond.
Yep.
The other 3, yeah. So I guess, does that mean that this is just kind of a new roster? I don't know how much you know about them, but...
Yeah, it is the new roster. I mean, I'm not too familiar, obviously, with Hugo Bick. I'm not too fond. I don't really know too much, but he's the support player. Obviously, got Probus as the carry, Akame as the suicide, Labyrinth as mid, and Aslan Gogo as the jungle player. Obviously, Probus was originally on Reason Gaming. Obviously, Iceland Gogo and Labyrinth were on the old Dawn team, and they sort of just formed up because there was a few internal issues with the loss of the other Dawn members, so they sort of broke off and then obviously formed with some new members here at the end.
Well, that they did, and clearly it's working out just fine, though. Obviously, with how the results have been turning out, and again, now up 1-0 on the verge of moving on to the grand finals here of the Glow Division, like it keeps on stressing. Very, very important indeed. Madman going to be coming out here from Shrek is Love. That's all they'll go. Again, on the other side of the spectrum, though, Shrek is Love, but I believe these are, for the most part, if not all 5 players, are similar. They're the same. They have been in Diamond before. Of course, they were in Carnage and Calabar the second season, and this is one of these teams they're just on the outskirts of being just a very top-tier team to compete with. So, as the season continues to develop here, and only in Cycle 3 of 8 cycles total, definitely had possibility if they stick together, could see something a lot more of them later on, perhaps even starting with the next cycle, but definitely a very, very sound team themselves. Don thinking about who their 4th pick is going to be now, with the extra time again ticking down. I mean, they got their carry, they got their go-to support, they had a jungler, so I guess Suicide and mid-hero here makes sense as far as their options go.
Unless they want to run some kind of like solo mid, like Parasite, like Tundra perhaps. Tundra Parasite combo can work very, very well. Obviously, can gank perfectly with Silhouette as well once she's picked up her portal key. So Tundra would work quite well if they decide to do that. But Bubbles can work well as in that sense if they want to run that solo mid or solo bottom. Puppet Master as the final pick here for Ogre. And I'm not too sure. I mean, obviously it can work against Silhouette, obviously, because enough crowd control to sort of shut Silhouette down. But at the same time, obviously, Silhouette is definitely going to go for a Nullstone. And a big iron picker, a big iron picker that works very, very well against Puppet Master is obviously the Nullstone. But a War Beast here picked up. That's going to be played by Akami, actually. He plays it incredibly well, Suicide War Beast. I haven't seen him play it too often, so if he plays it bad, I'm definitely going to criticise him, but we'll have to see how well he plays in this one.
Yeah, a lot of physical damage between those 2 heroes right there, and the War Beast and the Silhouette, so that's something Shrek is Love is going to have to keep in mind, too. Perhaps give him the early Souls board for the team, maybe a Saxon or at least a play of Greaves, and, of course, something like the Abyssal Skull even. So keep an eye out for items like that, but here we go, game number 2. Again, Don up 1-0 here in this best of 3 in what is the Gold Division Winter Bracket Final. So into the laning phase, going to go, as you pointed out, definitely going to be more of that Suicide War Beast. And the kind of cool thing is not often you get a War Beast and a Parasite on the same team, but Parasite could definitely infest one of those Hellhounds and run around with it, do some scouting himself. So
similar to Tundra in that respect as well, obviously Invis at level 4. quite fast. So obviously, she doesn't have the cliff and cliff walking in that respect, but can definitely work. But yeah, going back to sort of the drafts here, in terms of sort of the team strategy, see Ogre here, they have a lot of great sort of team fight potential here with Tempest, with Glacius, with obviously Kraken as well. Whereas Dawn have the superior late game. They've got Silhouette and Warbeast is enough late game to sort of almost carry the late game in terms of any kind of game. But it really depends, how if they can keep ahead or get ahead and then stay ahead, then that's really where they need to be. They need to sort of be split pushing because they can't take team fights, particularly not until sort of Warbeast has his strong ahead, because obviously they're going to get absolutely wrecked. So they've got to be very, very keen on their sort of split pushing potential, which Warbeast and Silhouette are very, very good at doing. So as long as they play it right in terms of that respect, they should definitely be in a good position to take this into game 2. But again, it depends on how well Ogre sort of force the issue as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when it comes to split push, definitely a makeup. I mean, hell, Bubbles even on top of that. They got a lot of potential to really keep this Legion team very occupied from one lane to the next here on Dawn. So, going to have a pause to start things off here in what is, again, game number 2. And I was actually taking a closer look at the Gold Division brackets. I'll pull it up for you guys here on screen, too. Oh, that was the wrong button right there. Let me go back to this tab. All right, there we go. So, as you can see, again, you go to HauntTour.com. You can check this out for yourself, guys. This is, again, the gold event here, specifically under the events tab. But things are moving along in the losers bracket as well of this. Rexars actually did defeat Tang Zhang Peng 2-0 in their best set of 3. So they're moving on. Instant Reflex, a.k.a. Team Excellent, or Not Excellent, whatever the hell you want to call them. They're up 1-0 against Prime Icarus. Prime Icarus was another one of these teams, actually. Snooey's on there, and actually Ceratus is on there. Go figure. So
old Dawn.
Yeah,
it'd be quite funny if Dawn actually beat or end up facing against them and end up beating them. That'd be quite funny. Seeing as Ceratus actually made the team of Dawn, so that would be kind of a little bit of salt in the wounds. But we'll have to see.
Definitely fun keeping an eye on those storylines. But yeah, they are down 1-0 against Not Excellent, and of course Not Excellent. They're the makeup of. Is Pew still actually a part of it?
Yeah, he's the captain.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Sweet
is now his name. Okay, yeah, showing you guys right here. So yes, we have that, of course, Nox and Macera and Fabelli. Seeing Fabelli back too, it's good to see. So yeah, a lot of these players kind of starting to come back more and more as these cycles pick up here. So it's been fun to keep an eye on. So and keep an eye on the top 2 teams as those 2 teams move on to Diamond from the Gold Division, where the bottom 2 from Diamond get bumped down to the Gold Division, and of course looking at the Diamond brackets, that's going to be Wapdash and Twisted Fusion, actually, both getting knocked down. Wapdash had a little good run here. They got for 2 cycles, but they're going to be going back to Gold, and Twisted Fusion, unfortunately, a short stay. They get knocked down right away themselves, so there's all of that stuff.
And there's so many good sort of gold teams or borderline diamond division teams actually at the moment. Like, it's quite crazy. Like, I mean, although obviously it is only an 8-man sort of diamond division, if it was 16, there would still be a lot of close matches to say the least. But
yeah,
it's probably better that it is 8.
Yeah,
the gold and diamond division, even that sort of cut above the rest.
Yeah, even like Season 1 and Season 2, I mean, a lot of people, make the points that's like, oh, Haunt, as far as the overall, it's just kind of gone downhill, whatever, and Season 1 and Season 2, though, I mean, when you look at it, the earlier rounds in the Diamond Division, there was a lot of just blowouts, frankly. And so I honestly am very happy with the round of 8, exactly. Having 8 teams how it is now, I think it was a great decision to do that. And it really does make the whole cycle from the very beginning that much more exciting. In the end. And it does even this is a point to that, too. I mean, here we are covering some gold matches, something we never really did in Season 1 and 2, perhaps even because of this. So. I think I'm definitely a huge fan of the format. I think the players have definitely agreed too. What is going on? Rocky Balboa and Pro Plus, kind of literally taunting one another, and having some fun here. So safe to say, hey, it is a game after all. It's always good to see just having some good old-fashioned fun. Even in competitive tier matches where there's money on the line. Hell, this is Gold Division, but again, the top 3 teams even take a share of that overall prize pool there.
One important thing to mention actually is that Warbeast or Akami's hounds were actually taken over by Tempest, so he's not actually going to get the lane control he would have had if he actually got them off. So that's a big deal, honestly. Like, you need to get the early lane control as a Warbeast Suicide, and as a result, seeing as he's going to be 1v2 as well, he's going to have a very, very tough time here to get the early farm, which is very, very much needed here if Warbeast is going to have an impact in this game altogether. So just for that one pull, I mean, he's going to start pulling now, but Glacius and Tempest are roaming over it again, so I mean, Ogre are doing a great job trying to shut down this Suicide Warbeast as much as possible, actually, and it's working quite well so far. So
yeah, big pull right there, but yeah, exactly. Has the Archer going to be pushing the tower now? So Warbeast does hit level 2 though in the process, and definitely keep an eye on how that continues to progress. Again, being the Suicide Warbeast though, we talked about this. We saw, I think, what you got from Nullstone Gaming, playing a bit of the Warbeast in the jungle as he's known what to do, and thus passing up the battle cry of his, and we've had that discussion there, but. He is going to be getting Battle Cry, especially being the Suicide, so expect those glowing red hands to be appearing across the board here for Dawn, of course, as we've already started to see. So, Parasite, he's got a camp right here to the side that wasn't blocked. It's only a Vulture Lord, though. Not going to be able to make use of it. Yeah, Rhapsody kind of scouting things out. Madman is up here, but he's hidden. I guess that's enough of it being hidden right there. Okay, there's the stock, though, of course, running right by a Rip Lord, but
Parasite is coming over.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it should be fun. It's fun. But yeah, this does actually leave a 1v1 matchup against Bubbles versus Kraken. I mean, with the Warbeast Battle Cry as well, Bubbles should definitely take this matchup as he's doing right now. 250 GPM compared to 230. I'd expect that to be a little bit higher, but obviously it's only 2 minutes in, so expect the sort of difference to increase in the next couple of minutes as well with the Battle Cry. Even more. But Akami is getting a little bit of fun here in the bottom lane, though, to be fair. I think Glacius has rotated top, though, so they're going to try and set something up here on Rhapsody, but with Parasite in the vicinity, this could be a definite dangerous sort of situation to be in here for Glacius, seeing as obviously he has left the bottom lanes, but Rhapsody might be in trouble.
Yeah, runs right into Madman right here. He obviously has no clue Glacius is nearby, though. Madman kind of standing his ground, but Glacius doesn't want to show until maybe getting a little bit more damage. I think he's just being patient. He's letting Rhapsody take some good damage right here before they go for the kill. But that's not going to be happening just yet. And Rhapsody does have a health potion on her, so if she maybe picks up on that information or is able to use it in time, then of course could be fine. But the lane positioning also not the best right now for the gank, so actually Glacius says, screw it, this is probably just not going to work.
Bubbles and Tempest actually going at it.
Wasted Bubbles. Running into him, kind of going back in right here, looking to maybe chase. No, he's not going to have him. Back to the top lane.
Man.
Rhapsody does get caught out eventually, so.
Bubbles?
Oh, felt like it was inevitable. Eventually happens. The charge going to miss right there. Beautiful shell surf to kind of destroy everything and help himself get away at least. But yeah, top lane, Rhapsody goes down. So bloodless kill for Shrek is Love, specifically that
honestly,
Glacius.
Great rotation. Yeah, so great rotation coming from Cluckmark. I mean, this is something we never ever see, honestly. Like, to see a second or a support rotate all to the top lane, sort of try and gank for the Suicide, only 3 or 4 minutes in, it's a big deal. And now this does give a lot of room here for Madman. Obviously, he's only 112 GPM, but he was getting very much dominated by the Rhapsody, so it gives him a little bit. And at the same time, he boosts Glacius GPM by sort of 200 now. He's going to get his own boots, and he's going to come back here in the top lane as well. And seeing as obviously Pipe Master can sort of solo against the Warbeast, it makes sense seeing as Warbeast is only 150 GPM as well, so I guess he's making good use of his time, but talking of Glacius, he might be in trouble. No, Parasite is just going to back off in the end.
Yeah, falls back, going to be fine, so Parasite trying to continue to be that active presence that he can be. Has dust on him. We'll see if Iceland Gogo is going to be able to make something happen with that. He has a Catman champion here as well. Definitely going to look to make the go. You see Madman already falling back. Silhouette's charging in. There's the dust so they can see him, but can they get an angle? No, they cannot. They got really aggressive right there. And Madman picked up on the information right away. So Rocky Balboa able to stalk away before getting caught right there. Well played. As far as suicides go, I mean, Madman only the one creep goal. He does have the assist, though, so that's good. But Warby's 7-0 here. Of course, no assist working for him. So the GPM actually, though, slightly still ahead of Warbeast with that said. But Puppet Master, safe to say, having a very good time. So is Silhouette, though. So both the carries doing as you would expect here as far as their farm is concerned. But again, Silhouette's taking advantage of the glowing red hands here from Warbeast, as we stressed earlier. Those are level 2 currently.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing though to have. Like, seeing as although Madman might be have got assist to his name, might be doing a little bit better than the Warbeast. At least Warbeast is contributing to his team with the battle cry. He's actually gone 3 points and Hellhounds here. I do see Akami do this sometimes because sometimes he rotates into the jungle and he prefers obviously to have rank 3 Hellhounds. In this case, I mean I don't really agree with it honestly, but at the same time, we might see him rotate maybe to the Ancients in the next couple of minutes, where obviously the Hellhounds would be a better choice than to pick up the third level of Battlecry.
Yeah. Bubbles, middle lane might be in a little bit of trouble right here. Glacia's coming in. He's level 2, has that freeze, good to go, trying to get in range. There's a Tundra Blast, but can't nearly get close enough to put anything else out further. In fact, Kelfield coming out. Bubbles going for the turn kill. He does take a freeze right there. He gets greedy. Will is paid off. He's able to port out. Final auto attack. The output missed, actually. Glacius finally goes down, though, as Parasite comes in to clean up. But now Bubbles in trouble. He is going to barely survive himself. Power supply a big part of that. So, well, that was a very interesting sequence of events right there. But good man-up coming out from Labyrinth. He figured that they could have got the kill, and sure enough, he was right. As far as that turn was concerned, the level 2 Glacius just got a little too aggressive there. We're in that middle. So.
Yeah. Ooh, Kraken. Nah, they can't catch him without Keltfield in the end. But yeah, I mean, obviously praise Glacius in the end, sort of rotating top to get the initial kill. But he's only level 2 now. 6 minutes in, and he's not really offering too much. Obviously, he came in the middle lane, got picked off too easily coming out from Bubble. So maybe he should go in the bottom lane, try and get a few levels here from the pool. Because at the moment he's really offering nothing to his team, doesn't have the boots, so no, he did have the money, which I did state earlier, which he got when he got the Bloodlust kill, but just hasn't really offered too much outside of the initial kill coming out onto Rapsy. But hopefully we'll start seeing him start leveling up very shortly. Maybe even if he sort of sits with Tempest to sort of jungle a little bit to get, because he needs those level 3, level 4, because otherwise he's going to offer nothing when it comes into the mid game. He's going to rotate over here, going to try and put some kind of pressure here onto Akami, but Akami should be fine. Although Puppet Master might dive the tower, he should be fine.
Yeah, it's not going to be worth any diving there by any means, but yeah, at least Glacier's kind of poking at, like you said, harassing. But again, that's the thing, though, it doesn't really help us in an experience sense, and so he needs to do his best to be a part of that. He's going to leech some right here as the Vulture Alert goes down with Tempest. So kind of talking about that, splitting that perhaps, but keep an eye to see how that progresses for him. Level 8 Puppet Master, though. Speaking of somebody that's getting some good levels, he's level 8, the highest in the game, obviously. 393 gold per minute on. Here comes the bottom tower push. The Elementals are here. Tempest, those are level 3 currently. And going to do some good damage, but actually despawning right there. So maybe not as much of a push as I thought, nor as they thought perhaps, but are going to start falling back, and we'll see if they can reset top lane. Yeah,
we've got Invisible Kraken up here, actually, but Rapsy could have been in trouble, but Kraken just didn't want to make the sort of risk to go for it. But like, this is what I was saying, the Bubble was actually 300 GPM now compared to level 6 Kraken, only 230 GPM. And Kraken really does need that portal key to really get himself going. Obviously, Bubbles has his own mobility with the Shell Surf, but Kraken not doing too well is a lot worse than Bubbles not doing too well. And in this end, actually, Bubbles doing quite well. Actually, he's going to Shell Surf here, just going to put some harassment into Kraken. And because obviously, with Bubbles being a lot more mobile, expect him to sort of start roaming, start ganking, whereas Kraken, he needs that portal key to start roaming. You saw him pick up the Invis Room, but he just failed to do anything because he just doesn't have the skill set without the items he needs.
Yeah. Top lane, again, they're really trying to kill this madman, but he keeps just barely getting away, and so the games are unsuccessful. But here we go with their push version now of the top tower. As I say that, of course, you look at the bottom lane, Puppet Master and Glacius doing their part. Warby's going ulti form, actually. They are chasing. Haste is out. They're going to easily catch Glacius. He doesn't stand a chance, but actually support comes in, and all of a sudden Warby's might be in trouble. Tempest has an ult, but he's not going to use it, though. There we go. No, the stun's coming out. It's not going to be enough for the kill just yet. Finally comes. I thought he used it for a second, but he chooses to save it, and they do get the kill at the end. That was, thought he might have actually gone away almost, but
yeah, I thought he used it as well. It looked like he actually did, but in the end, not. But in the meantime, that's exactly what Dawn needs to do. They're actually counter pushing here because obviously most likely this tier 1 tower is going to drop. In the meantime, Bubbles going to sit down here, kind of stand out the Shell Surf. But actually, this strategy here from Dawn was very, very strong. Obviously, they're going to back off here in the tier 2, but at least they're sort of slowing down with the Bubbles and then split pushing with the other heroes because they can't take these team fights, and they know exactly what they need to do. Actually, a risky TP coming in from most likely Warbeast, but he's going to get away with it in the end.
Yeah, ports in. You see the denied attempt from Bubbles, unsuccessful though. So good kill on a Warbeast, a tower kill on top of that. You got your 2 carries in this game. Puppet Master definitely having the advantage. In fact, Count Crapula here, he actually went the Whispering Helm first. We've had the discussion before. It's a lot of Puppet Masters seem to like the Assassin Shroud priority lately, but one of the rare times where he actually goes the Whispering Helm first here. to continue with the farm.
I mean, I really prefer the Assassin's Shroud build than the Whispering Helm, but in this case, I think it actually might be the better case, because, I mean, who is he going to gank with? I talked about how Kraken is really going to have like a limited impact before he gets his portal gear, so he can't really gank with Kraken. I mean, Madman, yeah, he could potentially gank with him, but again, he hasn't had the greatest of times. And in this case, maybe it's best to sort of sit back and farm. He's going to go the Assassin's Shroud next, obviously, but it's going to increase his farm, just that increased more as well. So 430 GPM. Actually, middle lane, there might be some TP rotation here, but an interesting... play there coming from Kraken. He actually TP'd right next to the T1. I don't know if that was going to force Dawn back, but it does force him back in the end, I guess.
Yeah,
So.
yeah they are going to fall back, and so no fight going to be engaged. Now 4 players are here from Shrek, so they're using a bit of resources in that sense to make something happen, but Parasite takes over the Ballista, and that's so freaking annoying. Bubbles, actually, in the meantime, he's going to be caught out here. Tor comes out, releases Kraken, going to be used as well. He's going to use a take cover initially, but that's only going to delay the inevitable. Tempest ultimate to lock down Parasite as well. And the charge out to guarantee the kill onto him. So a double tap for Dem Strats. Playing the Kraken right there. So the patience pays off for Shrek is Love. And now here comes their middle push. In the meantime, a couple ultimates used, but it got a couple kills, so definitely worth it.
Yeah, I mean, almost a questionable engagement as well. Obviously, all of the heroes from Ogre are off the map, but they did have a ward of sight here up in the middle lane, and I mean, they just didn't need to be in that position, because obviously now this rotates to a tier 1 mid, and now Ogre are almost a dangerous situation. I said they had to make sure they were definitely equal, if not ahead, when it gets into the mid game, because the team fight potentially for Ogre is so much more dangerous than Dawn. Obviously, they do have the better split pushing here with Silhouette and Warbeast, but talking of Warbeast though, he's had a very bad time, honestly. Like, only 160 GPM. He is rotating to the jungle now, but 12 minutes in, obviously he was 2v1, but at the same time, I would expect him to have a little bit better farm. Maybe I'm being a little bit harsh on him, but still, you would expect him to have a little bit more than just boots and the Ring of the Teacher.
Yeah. There goes that bottom tower, secondary tower. So Puppet Master, speaking of somebody that is having just a dandy time, would be Puppet Master. In fact, a full Assassin Shroud? No, he still needs a pattern, but actually has a broadsword coming out to him, so has that Whispering Helm Assassin Shroud just about finished here onto him. So speaking of somebody else that you would expect to be doing pretty well here, Silhouette is doing pretty well, you know, comparable. Is slightly behind the Puppet Master, but actually just finishing his Nullstone, so Probusk ideally will continue to enhance from here and look to work with that. Now again, Tempest Ultimate is down for 100 seconds right here. More, so Dawn perhaps now's the time to take advantage and maybe look to push another initial tower perhaps, but for the time being, not going to do that just yet. Ooh, Parasite, he actually found, who was that? Was that Puppet Master? Yeah, Puppet Master pointed the bottom tower down here. Instead, not many players would do that, man. He actually pours to the bottom tower, has a Whispering Helm, so he figures I could just continue to farm and be fine.
That's good presence of mind, honestly. Like, a lot of people would just spam that, but at the same time, though, it's very, very risky, since obviously the TP cooldown or TP sort of duration, sort of TP to the tier 1 is 4 seconds compared to 3 seconds back at base. So he got very, very lucky, actually, in that respect. But or you could just say, obviously, it was a good play, but either way, he does going to continue his farm. Closing on that 500 GPM, actually. My bottom lane, actually, Parasite going to go in on the Glacius here.
Yeah, Glacius level 5, so that's increasing some level. Shell Surf just out of range, though. Actually, Glacius will live, so the chase unsuccessful right there. I mean, I thought for sure that was going to be killed. Hell, the fact that he was even able to get that ward of sight down and stay alive, pretty big deal. I don't know if they even spotted that here on the Hellborn staff. They're going to pick up on that, or maybe even just be at a point of just saying, screw it, what's done is done. But there is a ward of sight now placed there, giving some good vision here to Shrek is Love. As a possible ganks for future setups. Man, a 5,500 gold lead, 3,400 experience lead. I don't know, it honestly doesn't even feel that big, but Shrek is Love really actually a very strong start here. And what is game number 2? Again, they're down 1-0 here in the series. So Assassin Shroud is just finished on Puppet Master with that said. And you got Madman, actually. Madman's 300 gold per minute. I think that's the biggest thing of it all.
Yeah, he has actually recovered so well. Yeah, he was only like 200 GPM, and he's recovered very, very well. But at the same time, though, you could arguably expect maybe him to have at least 1 or 2 deaths, but in the end, Silhouette and Parasite and Raptors just couldn't connect to get the early kill onto him, and now he is sort of starting to snowball. And this sort of goes back to why Ogre are so far ahead, actually. 300 GPM on Madman, 360 on Kraken, 450 on Puppet, and 350 on Tempest. Actually, they all got great farm across the board, and this is where it gets dangerous in terms of the team fight, because every single hero on Legion can offer something compared to, say, the heroes on Dawn. Warbeast is going to offer absolutely nothing. Parasite isn't going to offer too much, really. Actually, been in the lane talking to Parasite. Going to try and set up the game from Kraken, but It's going to be fine.
That was way, I mean, that was way too early from Bubbles. There was really no chance. I mean, if Crack for some reason chose to not charge away, but even if he didn't charge away, I mean, he had a TP coming in, and that was already like kind of halfway to the tower anyway. So yeah, that choice to initiate a waste of Kelfield right there, frankly, was just not the best. So Labyrinth not making the biggest play, and
Silhouette.
at the top lane, yep, Silhouette, he's in a lot of trouble. Here we go, takes off the no, so the Puppet Show comes out. There's the Puppet Ultimate, and down goes Silhouette as if she wasn't even there. The Voodoo Puppet allows for so much damage amp. And showing off. And speaking of Bubbles, actually, he's going to be caught up here now. The freeze comes out. He has a Shell Surf, though. So he should be fine. Although Madman still wants to make something happen. No, Take Cover comes into play and going to survive. But, okay, we're not done just yet, apparently. Kraken actually missed the charge. He has a portal key. Not able to line it up perfectly, though. Until the initiation mess up is probably...
I need to TP. Rhapsody needs to TP right now.
Rhapsody go? Okay.
Yeah, they should just try and start pushing the bottom lane now, or pushing mid. This is what I'm saying. The team fight here for Ogre is too strong, seeing as they're actually ahead in terms of golden experience as well. And then Dawn definitely needs to start split pushing. So well played out from Akami. Start split pushing bot definitely straight away. And obviously you've got Bubbles in here in the middle lane. But actually, Ogre are rotating over actually. Warbeast.
Yeah, Warbeast trying to go for the port out. Ain't going to happen though. In comes the ulti from Warbeast. Tempest does have an ulti of his own. Will he look to use it right here? Glacial Downpour comes out. Not necessary as the Whiplash attack from Puppet Master comes out and guarantees the kill onto him. So Warbeast goes down. He talked about doing some counter pushing in the process. Kind of made sense, but Shrek and Love was ready to defend and clearly caught him out. So I mean, this is just getting overwhelming at this point. Kraken is going to be picked off, though, so finally something positive here for Dawn. It's been a while, actually, 17 minutes into this game, but they get at least a little bit of something. More negative, though. Rhapsody getting caught out. Granted, Madman actually getting turned now. Kelfield hits. The Shell Surf does not, though. Dust does come out. Willis being out for the actual kill. Stun already coming out. They don't have a follow-up. Parasite trying to get into range, but no, he cannot. Maybe? He comes out. Yes, Madman wasn't aware. No, but the disjoint of the barrel roll. It will stay alive. The face suck didn't actually. Surf. Oh, okay, it was on cooldown. Anyways, yeah, missing the Shell Surf. That was the difference. Yeah,
in the end, but yeah, I mean, like I said, the game plan, the strategy here for Dawn is still the same. They can't team fight. They need to sort of keep on split pushing when Ogre start pushing up. But at the same time, they need to spot the rotation coming out from Ogre. You saw Warbeast, pushing down bottom, which is the right play to make. But Eva, obviously, he didn't realise that Ogre sort of backed off from the top lane or whatever, because obviously he did get picked off from Tempest. So they need to obviously stop split pushing, but at the same time, they have to be careful in when they're sort of split pushing. And one thing to note is the warding situation here is good in that respect, but at the same time, they need to have almost aggressive wards, sort of spot the rotation coming out from Ogre, obviously to sort of know where they are at. Because if they're on the other side of the map, if Dawn are going to be split pushing, they're going to be on the other side of the map. If they have aggressive wards, then they can spot the rotation coming out from Ogre in that respect. So maybe the defensive wards isn't what is really needed here in this sort of time of the game, perhaps. But nonetheless, actually, bottom lane, Tem is most likely going to be falling.
Yeah, he is in a lot of trouble right here. Parasite with a Wild Hunter came in initially, and Tempest, as soon as that jump happened, really didn't stand a chance. So good coordination coming out from Dom. But in the meantime, middle push going to be happening now from Shrek and Love. Now, again, they don't have Tempest. So perhaps this is the time to capitalize if you're Don.
They should go.
Here we go. There's a portal key, and Puppet Master going to be fine, though the initiation wasn't the prettiest. Dust does come out, so they are going to spot Puppet Master. But the chase will continue, actually. Bubbles, he has a kill coming up in 5 seconds, but it's not close enough, and he decides to fall back before committing any further. So, I mean, that was definitely a chance for Don to make something happen. But
that would have been a massive kick, but the tree grapple was just slightly missing, actually, on Puppet Master. He just skirted away in the end, but that would have been a massive kill. Obviously, most likely would have picked off Puppet Master, if not more, and then could even took in the tier 1 mid, which they desperately need. They need a lot of lane control, map control, actually, middle lane.
Well, we got middle lane. Some Kelfield coming out once again, trying to follow up with the Killing Cracker. But again, the Kelfield use sets up into nothing. We've seen several of those, unfortunately, coming out from Labyrinth here on the Bubbles. He's going to be charged back in fact, and down he goes. In the background, the Tempest ultimate goes on the portal key initiation. And down goes Silhouette and Rhapsody. Wombo combo coming to fruition right there. In fact, overkill Wombo combo coming out, as everything was used, and I don't even know if that was necessary. But they get the important kill. Silhouette is not buying back here. This is easily going to be a middle tower push, maybe even some pressure on the base now. So the portal key, very early portal key onto Tempest. He did get the Astrolabe first, but not often we see this earlier on of a portal key. Makes it work right there, however. And they continue to be in a huge lead. I mean, they've only lost the one tower so far at the top lane now 20 minutes in. That's just one of many reasons why they have such a huge lead, actually. 11.7 thousand gold lead, 8,500 experience lead. I mean, we saw this Dawn team and you know, the lineup again. A lot of physical presence, Warbeast and Silhouette, a lot of farm going to be needed on both of them throughout this game. I mean, I guess that's where it's kind of the mix of this line the more I'm looking at. I mean, they got the Parasite and the bubbles for aggressive plays. I think a lot of it just has to do with playing. Like I mentioned about the bubbles,
it's just team fight, honestly. Like, I mean, some of the sort of team decisions and the engagements here are just completely terrible here for Dawn. Like, they were getting picked off 2 or 3 at a time when obviously they can't get picked off. Obviously, the team fight here for Ogre is too strong, and there was a few split decisions, like, for example, in the middle lane, where people were trying to go actually top lane. Grace is going to be falling, so this is exactly what they need to do. They've got the gank potential, they just don't have the team fight potential just yet. They need to wait almost like 20 or 25 minutes before they can take a team fight 5v5. Try and delay with a few pickups here and there, and obviously keep on split pushing, but that's what they have to do. And make sure they're not getting picked off. Actually, Madman might be in trouble here. Kelford onto him.
Yeah, the chase is on. Madman, the puzzle box coming out to get him picked off as well, indeed. So, in any cases of, sure, it's a huge lead for Ogre right now, but at least Dawn doing enough to keep it. I mean, look at Probusk. He's got the Portal Key Nullstone. So a very good start for him still, and it's going to now even continue to go up and up even. So, yeah, if your Shrek is low, be careful not to get caught in a position like that. In fact, they're going to go for a Congo attempt. And they have a very good Congo team, but no.
No, because, like, I think taking the tier 1 would, I mean, maybe they're sort of afraid that maybe Madman might buy back, or they just don't feel fine, even 5v4, but at the same time, taking Congo is not as important as Tower getting like an early like tier 1 or a tier 1 bottom, because they need the map control. And at the same time, if they don't finish the Congo off, like, because, you know, Ogre maybe buy back and take a team fight, if they get Congo, they could lose the game right there. It's just a massive risk they don't need to take. So in the end, I think it was the right decision to sort of back off. Obviously, they do have a great you know, Congo fighting team. They would do it quickly, but would they do it quick enough is another question.
Yeah. Jeez. Hellflower just delivered a Puppet Master, so he's already got the Whispering Helmet. That's straight to Hellflower on top of that. His damage is pretty ridiculous right now. 485 crits on that Whiplash. It's coming out from him around there, and of course you factor in the Assassin's try to open on top of that too. He has potential to hit very, very hard. Voodoo Puppet, as I talked about earlier, and everyone knows by now, of course, the amplification on top of that. So, yeah, his damage output pretty damn ridiculous here in the end. Now, Silhouette actually picks up a Warhammer. I would think that's going to eventually turn into a Shrunken Head, but wants to get the damage first here. Prioritized over the Mighty Blade for the health, per se, but top lane secondary tower. This is actually already the last tower, only 23 minutes in. They're going to put some good pressure. They're not going to go all out, though. They're starting to fall back. They had a word of sight to spot this. Granted, they're going to be countered right there. But, of course, they know they're nearby. You see the Skeleton King infested Parasite, or vice versa. Anyways, going in and scouting it out, that's enough to scare them off. So, Malicious is actually bottom lane currently. Not that that's the biggest deal, but technically all 5 aren't up here for Shrek is Love. So, yeah, they're not going to commit to anything and will actually fall back. So, the tower stays alive just out of deny range. Granted, it being the last one still alive. So Tempest, by the way, he's getting close to finishing maybe a Shrunken Head here, I would think. 3,400 gold saved up just about. That's that'll basically mean it's just going to be up to Parasite to be able to stop that. And speaking of Parasite, he actually got a puzzle box recently. I believe it's level 1 still, maybe level 2 actually. But Shield Breaker is the choice for Silhouette. Never mind. So I thought it was going to be maybe this Shrunken Head, but
I think it makes sense because they're not going to be team fighting, so the Shrunken Head is not needed. And second of all, he is going to pick up a Shrunken Head, maybe. And if so, it's going to be in the next 10 to 15 minutes because they want to time it with Warbeast's Shrunken Head. And so he can pick up the Shield Breaker and then pick up a Shrunken Head before Warbeast picks it up as well. So that's the sort of timing they're going to most likely go for. And at the same time, they might not even need to go for a Shrunken Head. Actually, Parasite does get the tower, tier 1 tower, but he's going to pay with his life. So probably not the best sort of decision because now they could actually look to him take high ground. He actually purchased puzzle box as well, so he's not even going to have a buyback.
Yeah,
that's a very risky decision. I mean, and Dawn could definitely pay for that as well, actually. So
yeah, that's usually a no-no in that case. I mean, to buy it's not something that we really ever bring up because it never really, I guess, happens. But yeah, buying after you die like that because you can't sell the item. So he would have had a buyback. Now he doesn't. They're doing Condor. Would they have bought back and tried to defend this? I mean, maybe not. But actually, Bubble's going to be caught right here. Labyrinth was trying to be sneaky. He was not sneaky enough, though. And he does get caught out and eventually dies there in the end. So he does with the kelp field, but obviously too late. And now with the token on a Puppet Master, they're going to make their way bottom here. And why not go for it right away? They have everything good to go. So yeah, but yeah, very, very questionable. Again, I don't know if he actually would have, but it didn't even give him the option at that point to think about it. So he is resurrected now, and that is at a level 3 puzzle box at least, and it's only level 2 even. So it wasn't even up for the level 3 at that point. But yeah, I like how they're not wasting any time as the Shrek is up. Okay, they're going to start falling back here, though, as soon as Bubbles resurrects, of course. I mean, he doesn't have a kill field, though. I mean, they have everything up themselves, although release Kraken not up just yet, but I feel like they don't have the but
yeah, but I mean, I think they want to play it safe. They can pick up Strongheads on Madman and Puppet Master, then do the same, and then just sort of force the issue from there. Actually, Madman, just skirts away with TP. Actually, Silhouette had Log Bolus in mid-air actually, but does skirt away in the end. But yeah, I think they just want to play it safe, pick up the Stronghead head on Puppet Master and Madman, and then push from there. But again, I mean, I think Dawn, they definitely had like a good chance to sort of to take this game, but honestly, I think they're actually executing the strategy a little bit poor. They're getting picked off when they shouldn't be. They should be split pushing when they're actually team fighting. And this is paying, and it is sort of actually building up, actually. And Parasite might be getting picked off here again, actually. Oh, he's going to skirt away most likely with Mauler. Although Puppet Master is coming over, though.
Yep. Puppet Master will he open onto this? Yes, he will. He goes out of it immediately to remove the stun. So well played by Parasite right there. And actually does live. So yeah, very close call, but actually gets away and going to be fine. Using those striders to jet on out of there. So yeah, the token, about 3 minutes still remaining on it. Can maybe farm some Ancients here. Well, not, okay, yeah, there are some good Ancients there. Actually, double stacking it right there. The one was left behind, but okay. Wasn't even 27 minutes anyways, but top lane, Madman caught out by himself. Kelfield in. There's the face hug. He's in Fizz. They don't have Dust. And he's going to make the getaway initially. Will they actually find him here?
Here comes Ogre. Ogre is coming as well.
Ogre is ready to fight. So if you're if you're the Hellborn team, you want to get the hell out of there as they're trying to do. Parasite not going to be so lucky. Release the Kraken, help stop him, and gets the kill. So what was a possible gank attempt on Madman ends up being a death on a Parasite. He does not have a buyback, and here comes that top push. This is going to be an easy tower kill, and I assume they're going to keep this one going. I mean, no release Kraken, but they got the token for about 2.5 more minutes. Why not just go full throttle here?
Parasite's still dead as well. He doesn't have a buyback either, so they're going to definitely keep on going. I don't see why not. Even maybe just sort of for the next minute or so once token is still alive, or even sort of the next 20 seconds when Parasite goes up. But Bowers is going to just try and delay them as much as possible.
Doing what he can, but here we go with that top tower pressure. See Bubbles, no kill field though once again, so not going to be able to stop that. But look at the counter push though coming out. Yeah, it's enough to get Ogre to actually respond to that. As Silhouette ports back to base, she now has a level 3 shield breaker, and there's a Mighty Blade. So again, Proboscis is actually continuing to farm very, very well here. Now 500 plus gold per minute, and she does hit very hard. Buy more time for this War Beast to get that Shrunken Head. I mean, I know it's a 15,000 gold lead and 15,000 experience lead just about early on in this game. 28 minutes, it's more the big game stage, but still, I don't know, I still feel like Dawn actually has a decent shot here at least.
They definitely do. I mean, particularly if this game goes on for like another 10, 15, 20 minutes, and they could be in a very good position actually. Bubbles might get caught out by the invisible glaciers, but I'm just going to sort of try and delay as much as possible. I mean, the strategy here for Dawn is very, very good. I actually love the draft they've actually picked up. Obviously, you've got the Bubbles sort of try and delay pushes. Obviously, they've got the War Beast and Silhouette sort of split push, and obviously they've got the Parasite in terms of sort of ganking, obviously with the Silhouette and obviously Rhapsody in terms of some kind of team fight potential when it gets into the late game when they want a team fight. But the execution has been a little bit off actually, and that's why they're so far behind. But they're going to most likely have a team fight here. They can't obviously give up racks. They've got buyback on War Beast, but is that going to be enough? We'll have to see.
We're going to that middle lane. Glacius putting a ward aside on the uphill. Bubbles jumping in, but just simply to distract and clean up the creep wave right there. Portuguese away going to be fine, but you see Puppet Master, he's got 30 seconds on that token. They know it has to be low, and they're going to try to kill him right here. They are going to do that, it looks like. Yes, there you go. So token's going to be used, not a big deal. It's going to be used anyway soon. And now it looks like Shrek is Love maybe thinking about just simply falling back actually once again. Again, another case of let's not overstep our boundaries, but I don't know. It does start to get to that point though. Can they continue to do this of knocking on the door and being like, oh well, no, let's fall back? Because we just got finished talking about how Dawn is actually has a lot of potential to be very scary come the later game here. So
But this farm on Warbeast is so low. It seems like 30 minutes in. I know he was suicide, but he's still only 250 GPM. Like you would expect him to sort of recover a lot better than this. Honestly, like he obviously has the whole of the jungle, the ancients as well, and they need the shrunken head on Warbeast. Like without a shrunken head on Warbeast, like he can't team fight at all. And obviously Silhouette has picked up the shield breaker, and then it's going to most likely work for a shrunken head. Actually, top lane, man might be in trouble. Do they have dust though? They do this time.
This time they do, and this time it should be a kill. Yes, it will. Yep, they learned from that previous experience. They needed that dust. And it does set up for the kill. So I feel like that's happened several times now with Mammon, honestly. Rocky Balboa keeps getting caught up here. Trying to just simply farm, maybe counter push. But, I mean, yeah, so, but going back to Warbeast, obviously, yes, his farm hasn't been that great and definitely a little bit disappointing, but hey, he gets the shrunken head. That with the Abyssal Skull and the Steam Boots, he's going to be doing plenty, in my opinion. He's applying the Battlecry buff, the ulti form with those items alone, as long as he's able to freely go around with the shrunken head will allow him to do. And he can still do some good damage, and, you know, he's not the main damage priority, unlike certain lineups that he might usually be in here in this game, especially with the farm on Silhouette here. So just doing enough to keep them occupied, and again, applying the Battlecry buff, if anything, also plenty, I think, for them. So Shrunken Head is also getting close to now being finished on Proboscis. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, we can't forget as actually, top lane, Puppet Master might be in a little bit of trouble. Tree Grapple, and no, he's not going to be able to get off in time. Bubble's not going to follow through. There's a Puppet Show, though. The Voodoo Puppet, will it be enough burst damage in time? Yes, it will. Hellflower came out, and he could not get away as a result of that. So the greed does not pay off there for Proboscis.
I mean, if he hits that tree grapple there, that is most likely a dead Puppet Master. But in the end, he gets a shrunken head off and he turns it completely. And Silhouette didn't have enough sort of quick fingers to actually get away. The Hell Flap doing such a big play actually on Silhouette. Couldn't do anything or even sort of run away in the end. But and he does have a buyback though, but he'll definitely have to use it if they want to defend their middle racks here in middle lane.
Warbeast doing his best. That with Parasite level 3 puzzle box now. Again, a lot of counter push, a lot of split pushing potential here on this Hellborn team. And that could help, you know, still keep them in this game and perhaps have a chance later on. But for now, they're going to have to defend middle lane. Bubble's already kicking it off. Cuff already coming out in the follow-up. Not the prettiest, though. In fact, Bubble's going to be caught after the takeover, and he does go down just a little too antsy. Silhouette gets the pick on a Glacius, though, real quickly. And that will stop them for now. Warbeast with that ulti form, but he doesn't have the shrunken head just yet. Although protect him out. He won't save him out. There's a Towers ultimate. Parasite comes up with the face. It was a little late, though. Warbeast does go down. So does Rhapsody. Parasite still alive in the background, trying to do that. Silhouette comes back, and actually the auto attacks not enough to finish off Puppet Master. And now she's going to be held in place, actually. She cannot get away. See, I don't get that, though. If you're caught like that, why not just simply auto attack at that point? Because she kept trying to run and getting pulled back in when it wasn't going to happen. So anyway, she does fall right there. And now the tower is going to die on top of that. So here we go to the melee rack. Silhouette cannot buy back. Just not enough money, actually. So that could very possibly do it. They tried several buybacks used. Again, not having the shrunken head, though, on Warbeast definitely hurt, though.
Yeah.
Warbeast, yeah.
And the initiation from Bubbles is a little bit premature as well. He went in, did all his spells, and then he just instantly died, and there was no kind of backup. So, again, they have great skilled players. They've got a great draft, but the execution is really what's paying the difference right now at the moment.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much sort of practice in terms of this strategy in particular they've done, but it just doesn't seem to be clicking in this game, to say the least.
Yeah. So just Don, another one of these cases of just doing enough to understand why they're maybe not conceding here, but the big fix here is very, very more likely than not going to be in favor of Shrek is Love. Pending just complete throw, honestly, at this point. They're going to need help from Shrek is Love in terms of playing poorly here and making some bad decisions on top of playing very well themselves. Is where Don is at here. So again, this is game 2 where Don's up 1-0. So if Shrek is Love wins this, we would be going to the third and final game here now. We are at the point, by the way, guys, just a quick update once again on that. The winner bracket finals of Diamond Sync versus Willowkeeper is set to start in about 25 minutes from now. So of course we're going to be covering that no matter what. So whenever we have to jump into that, we will. But at this point, we may lead up the coverage to that, as this one could very likely continue to move on, of course. So, but again, to clarify that, we're not going to cover this over that after that starts, of course. We will jump into that matchup as soon as that one starts. Again, about 25 minutes from now is when it's scheduled to start, at least. So, similar rage, though, picked up on the Puppet Master. Clearly, he is basically at that late game potential now, fully farmed. And we're only really 35 minutes into the game, so he still has more room for bigger and better items. Of course, finishing maybe that Genjiro, and maybe another one on top of that. But point being that he's already very, very well equipped. Warbeast is just about there to strike it. In fact, he's getting greedy here. He's trying to finish it off as they're coming to gank him, though. Yeah, he knows it, so he's going to go for the TP. He should be fine. But he's just still shy. There we go.
The bot bait.
Okay.
I love it, yeah.
So he has it now.
That's fine.
Okay, he has a Shrunken Head at least. He's almost level 16, I would think, too. So get that at least, then. That could be pretty big for them going into the next fight. I was actually double-checking what it actually does at the higher levels. Pretty much everything stays the same except the bonus health increased by 100, which isn't a big deal. But the cooldown's the biggest deal, obviously. 40-second cooldown. And it's an uptime of, what, 16 seconds. So you're only looking at a downtime of 24 seconds on that ultimate when it's level 3. So pretty important to have that. All right, Kongro looks like. Going to be at least attempted here by Shrek. More so, this is definitely more of a bait kind of Kongor. And they're going to go for it. Here we go. Silhouette in the background. Quick pick on Glacius, but at what cost here? Silhouette. The return happening. She can't swap out.
Illusion. It was illusion.
That's illusion. I hate Silhouette.
No, that's exactly how you play Silhouette, though, because she's got the Null Stone. She can instantly get the pick off now. And now Ogre in a tough decision. Do they want to fight 4v5? I think they still can. I think they do have the probably better team fight. But still, it's still like a chip damage away to Ogre now. They still can't give up this Kongo. They need to fight it. If they lose this Kongo, give it to Puppet Master, they cannot win the next team fight. They have to go for something. They have to try and make some kind of big play here.
Look at Silhouette.
She's
basically 60 gold from her Shrunken Head, too. So that's another one of those unfortunate timings here. Granted, if she did buy, then it'd be the case that she wouldn't have enough for a buyback, so there's that whole debate. So they're going to keep them off just long enough, though. And actually, at this rate, the gold... I wonder, if he gets that 2,900 gold, are we actually going to see him buy a Shrunken Head or not is the question. We do see the middle lane being heavily pushed in, though. You think so, though?
Yeah, because if he has a buyback, then he's not going to be able to get in the team fight. Like if the team fight's happening at Kongo, he's not going to be able to be getting. I mean, he does obviously have his ultimate, but at the same time, I think the Shrunken Head is just more important to sort of get involved and try and do as much damage as possible. But here comes the team fight. The Kongo's dropping very, very low.
There's the Shrunken Head delivered, so he has it now. Here we go. Kongo very low indeed, under 1,000 life now. Silhouette going in, putting the damage on a Puppet Master. Kongo's going to end up falling here most likely. Who will get in? The Tempest Ultimate going to be coming off. It's not going to be stopped. It looks like Parasite. He ain't going in. Tempest Ultimate, good duration, protectability. Ain't going to matter. Down goes Kongo, but down goes Silhouette. Token was picked up. I'm not even sure by who. But the onslaught continues well in favor of Shrek is Love. Yeah, you saw right there. So Parasite ran in, but so he made the comment. Yeah. I guess he just didn't have vision.
Yeah, it is a great ultimate because actually Parasite was actually positioned on the sort of right side, and obviously Tempest's ultimate like above the hill on the left side. Obviously killed two heroes, and that was the most important thing. And Parasite just couldn't catch him up. He was uphill as well, so he didn't have time. So he had to run uphill and then stop it. And by that time, obviously, the damage was done. And that's most likely going to be the game, honestly. And that's what happens if you don't buy Portal Key on Parasite. Like, if Parasite's there just to stop Tempest ultimate, you need a Portal Key to stop it. And as a result, that's most likely going to be the game.
That looks like it is. So GG, well played. Game 2 in the books here for Shrek is Love. So, hey, these guys going to a third and final game to determine which team is going to make it to the grand finals of gold, but arguably more importantly, which team is also going to qualify for diamond next cycle as a result of a victory here. One of the two chances left. So, congratulations to Shrek is Love, and again, third game going to be coming up between the two teams. So, we are at a point here. We're going to take a short break. Now, part of me is almost saying I don't even know if it's even worth it because if we jump into the third game, it'll be a case that they draft and they just started, then we'll have to leave, unfortunately. So, because of where we're looking at with the time, I think we're just going to wait it out here and then eventually jump into Game 1 of the Winter Bracket Finals for Diamond. So, of course, we'll keep an eye on this to see how it ultimately plays out, but we will be jumping into the Diamond Division coverage. But I definitely enjoyed that bonus coverage here of the Gold Division. Again, especially with how things are looking, and hey, that's good to see a good competition happening here of what's now going to be a Game 3 between these two teams. So any final words here on this matchup before we do go on our break and move on here?
No, I just think obviously maybe Dawn weren't too familiar with the sort of strategy of sort of split pushing and trying to sort of dodge team fights because they were trying to get involved. They were a little bit antsy and got a little bit greedy at times, and then as a result, Ogre did sort of capitalise on the mistake. So in the end, great play coming out from Ogre, and it'll be interesting to sort of see how it turns out in the final and third game. So.
Indeed, indeed. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, again, we'll keep an eye on that. But we are going to be taking a break right here, a little bit longer break, about 20 minutes or so. Keep you guys updated at the very least as far as what's happening. It shouldn't be too much longer than that, though, if anything. We'll play some videos here maybe. But we are going to be back. The winter bracket finals of